thoughts on what you want to do in terms of expanding tent care?
Well, we've probably since we last talked, we've had 2 or 3 internal meetings in terms of, again, expansion and exchange. I still think those are the 2 big issues. You know, the expansion, it's kind of clear that there's going to be a cost to the state really regardless in what everybody calls the woodwork effect, and we're trying to figure out what that'll be, but $100+ million is what the estimate is of what that will cost us. And then we're trying to see what other costs there are, then break that out from what the actual expansion cost would be. And like I said, we're not there yet.
What about on the exchanges? I mean, you know, you got governors in a bunch of southern states, and they don't want anything to do with it.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's kind of interesting how it's broken down. Of governors, again, that I respect and am close to, have said, no, we're not going to do it. No way. I don't want anything to do with Obamacare. To others who say, well, if we're going to have them, then we ought to run them ourselves. I still tend to, as I've said before, think that if there are going to be exchanges, that I would rather have Tennessee run it than have the federal government run it. But we haven't made a final. You know, if you just ask me which way I'm prone, I'd be prone toward doing that. But we haven't made a final call.
Does it concern you at all? I was talking to Speaker Harwell. She's also on the fence. Says there's good strategies on both sides.
Yeah, no, and I think I actually think that's. You know, I won't put words in, but that's kind of where you should be right now till we learn more and get a little further down the road. And then I think one of the things you'll see with us is we'll try to, between Election Day and the end of the year, be able to put together a good information deal for the legislature, Republican and Democrat, to say, here's what we need to weigh in this so that we'll be ready when we come back in January.
What are some of your thoughts about the exchanges? There's some states have said they don't want to run the exchanges. They'd rather the federal government do it because they, you know, are trying to get themselves far away from Obamacare as possible. But then there's, you know, the thought that the state should run it. You know, where do you guys fall on that issue?
I don't think Tennessee will do that. I don't think Governor Haslam is an extremist by any means. I think some of the ones, Bobby Jindal and some of those guys have done that. I think they're playing pure politics. And the only people they're hurting by doing this, by not doing that, are the people that we really need to help. The poorest of the poor have some coverage. We're going to have better coverage for them in this act, but they have some coverage. The wealthy people, middle class people, a lot of middle class people have coverage. That lower middle class or the working poor are the ones that this is designed to help. And by not doing the exchange, that's going to affect them. So to me, it's just punitive. It's just wrong. It's totally unchristian for them to even think about doing something like that. So I just think it's a terrible idea, and I don't think Governor Haslam would go along with that. I would be shocked if he did.